video will go some way in reducing your fuel bills and keeping your company more profitable through safer driving, lower insurance premiums, fewer insurance claims, and no penalty charges. Using the skills in this workplace video will help you to save money at home too, but the main aim is to become a safer, better driver. The need to be a safe driver is vital, and over the next few minutes we'll be looking at how we can improve the way we drive. We'll start with planning ahead. Planning every journey is essential, even if it's one that you make every day. The extent of your planning can be anything from listening to traffic updates on the radio, to plotting a route on a map, or programming a sat-nav. When choosing a satellite navigation system, do put some thought into it. The price shouldn't be the only deciding factor. A good sat-nav will help keep your driving safe. Sat-nav positioning is important. The best place for it is in the far left of the windscreen if you have a passenger. Allow them to follow the directions and communicate them to you, so you can concentrate on driving. If you don't have a passenger, a good place to put it is in the bottom right of the windscreen, where it doesn't interfere with your view too much. But make sure trailing cables don't get in your way, and that it's clear of any side airbags. Another useful tip is not to take the sat-nav for granted, and always have a good idea of the route you need to take. They don't always get it right. Driving requires high levels of concentration, and can therefore be quite tiring. It's really important to take regular breaks from driving so you feel refreshed and fully aware. You should take a break for at least 15 minutes for every 2 hours of driving. When planning your journey, give allowances for these breaks. Planning ahead, preparing yourself and the vehicle. Driver or rider error and poor reactions are behind the top causes of fatal and serious crashes. Cars don't lose control, people do. Before you begin a journey, you must be confident that you're fit to drive. Tiredness, illness, prescribed medication, drugs and alcohol can all seriously affect our ability to drive. And therefore, if you're suffering from the effects of any of these, you must not get behind the wheel. Remembering the word powder can help with your checks. P is for petrol. Do you have enough fuel for your journey? O is for oil. Check that the oil level is not running low. Only do so when the engine is not hot and the car is on level ground. Many modern cars will display this information on the dashboard when you start the car. W is for water. The car's washer fluid should be topped up and the coolant mustn't be running low either. D is for damage. Check the outside of the car for any damage, such as scratches and dents. Check the light casing and windows for chips. Damage should be reported to the car's owner before driving, so you're not held responsible for it upon your return. E is for electronics. Check that all lights are working. You'll need someone to help you. And check that the wiper controls and horn are working too. R is for rubber. Tyres should have sufficient tread and air pressure, and wiper blades must also be in good condition. If you're about to drive an unfamiliar vehicle, also consider a quick read of the manual. Know where all the controls are and how to use them before you need them. Not all vehicles have controls in the same place, particularly for lights and windscreen wipers. Sometimes handbrakes may also be controlled with buttons rather than levers. The inside of your vehicle should be kept tidy. Any loose items should be secured down. A laptop on the seat of your car can become a projectile if you stop suddenly, so store it safely. Securing loads can be just as important as securing yourself with a seatbelt. The next step of preparation is known as cockpit procedure, setting up the vehicle safely and doing so in the right order. First, enter the vehicle and close the door. Check that the door is closed securely and the doors of any passengers too. Adjust the front seat so that the clutch pedal, or brake if you're in an automatic, can be fully pressed down without your leg being completely extended. Adjust the rear of the seat so that when your arms are placed correctly at the steering wheel, they're not fully extended or overbent, since either of these positions restrict arm movement. Next, adjust the internal rear view mirror and both of the external mirrors so that you have maximum view to the rear of the vehicle. Despite setting your mirrors correctly, there will still be blind spots in your view of the surroundings. You must be aware of your vehicle's blind spots when driving. Place the ignition key in its first position. This will illuminate all of the warning lights and activate the fuel and temperature gauges. Check that there is enough fuel for your journey and that the car's temperature levels are not too high. Next, start the car. A high proportion of car fires occur when starting the engine, so it's good advice to start the car before putting a seatbelt on, in case the worst happens and you need to get out quickly. First, check that any passengers you may have are wearing their seatbelts and that all doors are closed. Once they are, fit your own seatbelt and pull it in a little to ensure it locks. Lastly, select first gear or drive in an automatic. Check the rear of the car over your left and right shoulders with a final check through the rear view mirror. Release the handbrake, ensuring the foot brake is applied in an automatic, and then move off if it's safe to do so. This procedure might seem extensive, but it shouldn't take too long and will confirm that your vehicle is safe to drive. A good system to follow is IPSCA: information, positioning, speed, gears and acceleration. Information. Gather as much information about the road ahead as possible. Scan the area ahead of you to the furthest point you can see, so you can spot potential hazards. The further ahead you look, the more time you have to respond to hazards. Information can present itself in many different forms and can interact with all of your senses. Once you've looked further ahead, use your observations to anticipate what might happen. Plan for every eventuality well in advance, so you avoid the need to take last-minute action. If you've scanned all that is around you and planned well ahead, you should never be surprised by another vehicle or pedestrian's movements. Observation links are a key part of information. The things that you can see, hear or smell will give you clues to hazards that you cannot currently see. Noticing fresh soil on the road suggests that you may find a slow-moving farm vehicle around the next corner. Travelling along a road with no pavements suggests pedestrians may be walking along the road, for example. Position. Correct positioning on the road will help to keep yourself and others safe. Use the road available to position yourself so you can gain the most information and also provide information to others. For example, positioning your vehicle on the outside of a bend will allow you to see further around it, meaning more and earlier information. Also, positioning your vehicle a safe distance from a heavy goods vehicle will allow you to be seen by them in their mirrors. Speed. Using information and positioning allows us to determine the appropriate speed for the hazards on the road. The faster we travel, the less time we have to react to developing hazards and road conditions. Remember that travelling too slowly can be just as dangerous as driving too fast. 20 miles per hour in a busy urban area could be appropriate. 20 miles per hour on a dual carriageway would be inappropriate. Always drive at a speed that will allow you to stop within the distance that you can see to be clear. Gears and acceleration. Selecting the appropriate gear and level of acceleration is the final part of the system. Once you've taken in the information and adjusted your positioning and speed, you'll need to make sure you're in the correct gear to maneuver safely. Sensible use of gears and acceleration will help to not only keep you safe, but is proven to reduce vehicle running costs by being more fuel efficient and also reducing the wear on brakes, tyres and engines. We'll now take a look at 3 very different examples of driving and look at how each stage of the system is used. Towns and cities. In our first example, we're driving through an urban area. While we're driving, we must remember observation links. We're aware that it's 8:45 on a Tuesday morning during school term time. Not only will the roads be busy with people commuting to work, but also parents during the school run. We should be aware of the possibility of children running out into the road, particularly near schools. We also notice that it has previously been raining, and the vehicle's speed should be adjusted accordingly. As we drive through the town, we find ourselves behind a cyclist who is travelling relatively slowly. We must make the decision to remain behind the cyclist or overtake him. Ahead we see parked cars on either side of the street. There are also side roads and bus stops. As the cyclist passes these hazards, we anticipate that he might move further out into the road in case a car door is opened, a vehicle emerges from a side road, or a pedestrian steps onto the road. Oncoming traffic in the distance also adds to the reasons why now would be a bad time to attempt an overtake. The safest thing to do now is to keep a safe distance away from the cyclist and to remain at an appropriate speed. Eventually, the cyclist pulls over to stop at a cash machine, meaning we can safely pass him at a safe distance with appropriate use of gears and acceleration. It's important to remember that the speed limit is maximum, not a target, and that maintaining a safe road position benefits all road users, not just ourselves.